What if discovering a breakthrough battery or climate-positive cement took weeks, not decades? In this project, AI, quantum simulation, robotic labs, and trusted data come together as an autonomous foundry for inventing the materials our energy, health, and infrastructure systems urgently need. We've already built the intelligence layer, expanded it into human experience, connected it to biology and robotics, and pushed it into autonomous physical systems. Now we turn to the materials that make future civilization possible. Think of this system as an autonomous foundry for invention. AI proposes promising material structures, quantum simulation predicts how they should behave, and a robotic lab makes and tests the strongest candidates. Each result feeds back into the model, so every cycle becomes smarter than the last. Instead of relying on trial and error, the system searches enormous spaces of molecules, crystals, alloys, polymers, and nanostructures. It can balance many goals at once, including performance, cost, safety, recyclability, and carbon impact, producing candidates for batteries, catalysts, superconductors, implants, sensors, and construction materials. The bottleneck is simple. The future may be limited less by ideas than by matter itself. Batteries, medicines, space habitats, and quantum devices all need materials we have not found yet. If discovery still takes 20 years, entire industries wait in line. Materials discovery is not just choosing a formula. Decisions at the atomic scale, such as electron behavior, bonding, and crystal structure, shape everything that follows. At the micro and nanoscale, grains, defects, pores, coatings, and surfaces determine how the material actually behaves. Those properties then have to survive manufacturing and become useful products. Batteries, membranes, catalysts, implants, chips, composites, or building panels. Finally, every material connects to planetary goals, including lower carbon, cleaner energy, efficient resources, and circular reuse. A future foundry has to reason across all of these scales at once. The foundry is best understood as an orchestrated learning system. Generative AI suggests candidate materials, crystal structures, and synthesis routes. Quantum and classical simulation engines estimate how atoms will behave before anything is made. Robotic chemistry labs fabricate and process the most promising candidates, while high-throughput instruments measure performance. Then the results flow into materials databases, provenance records, and knowledge graphs. So the system remembers what worked, what failed, and why. The key mental model is not a collection of separate tools. It is a learning loop that improves with each experiment. Here's that loop in motion. First, the goal is defined. The material must meet target properties, costs, and constraints. AI proposes candidates from prior evidence. Simulations screen those ideas for stability, conductivity, reactivity, toxicity, and durability before anything is made. Robotic systems synthesize the best samples and instruments test real performance. Then comes the most important step: learning. Results update the models, databases, and knowledge graphs, so the next round starts smarter, faster, and closer to the target. Generative AI acts like the foundry's imagination layer. It learns from papers, patents, lab records, materials databases, and simulations, then uses that knowledge to propose new molecules, crystals, polymers, alloys, and composites. The important shift is conditioning. We can ask for targets such as high energy density, low toxicity, heat resistance, or carbon-negative production. The model does not stop at structures. It can also suggest synthesis routes, processing conditions, and experimental recipes. Those options are then ranked across performance, safety, cost, scalability, and sustainability before experiments begin. Quantum simulation matters because materials are quantum systems from the start. Electrons do not simply orbit atoms like tiny planets. They occupy shared energy states, interfere, and respond collectively. Those interactions determine whether a material conducts electricity, stores charge, catalyzes a reaction, or changes phase. Classical supercomputers can approximate many cases, but the hardest systems become complex very quickly. Quantum computers may eventually model parts of that behavior more directly. In practice, discovery will be hybrid: quantum processors for difficult quantum interactions, classical HPC for scale, and AI models to search the candidate space. The goal is to predict promising materials before synthesis. Robotic labs close the gap between a digital hypothesis and physical evidence. A recipe can be sent directly to automated systems that mix chemicals, prepare samples, deposit films, heat materials, or apply coatings with consistent timing and dosage. Instruments then measure properties like conductivity, strength, stability, corrosion resistance, biocompatibility, or catalytic activity. Because the process can run continuously, it generates more consistent data than manual experimentation. That data feeds the AI models, which suggest better recipes and keep the discovery loop moving. Raw experimental data is not enough for an autonomous materials foundry. The system needs scientific memory. What was made, how it was processed, which instruments were used, what results appeared, and where those results were reported. Materials databases provide structured records, while knowledge graphs add relationships. They connect materials to methods, papers, patents, researchers, applications, and outcomes. With good metadata, the foundry can avoid repeating failed trials, compare results fairly, and use semantic reasoning to suggest promising combinations that no one has tested yet. In autonomous discovery, trust depends on remembering exactly how every claim was produced. A promising material is not just a result. It has a history: the hypothesis, model version, simulation settings, lab recipe, sample metadata, instrument calibration, and test data. Capturing that chain makes results reproducible and auditable. It also protects intellectual property, supports regulatory review, and lets another lab repeat the work with confidence. Blockchain or distributed ledgers can help by anchoring timestamps, integrity checks, permissions, and collaboration agreements without replacing the scientific record itself. The foundry is not a company built around one material or one market. It is a reusable discovery engine. The same loop of simulation, synthesis, testing, and learning can search across many domains. In energy, it might produce better batteries, catalysts, or solar layers. In medicine, safer implants and regenerative scaffolds. In infrastructure, carbon-negative cement or self-healing concrete. In electronics and mobility, superconductors, flexible devices, sensors, and shielding. That horizontal reach matters, because each breakthrough creates a different venture pathway, while the underlying platform keeps improving for all of them. By 2050, the biggest impact of AI quantum materials may not be one miracle substance. It may be a new discovery infrastructure feeding every major system we depend on. Better batteries, catalysts, and superconductors could reshape energy. New sorbents, membranes, and mineralizing materials could make climate repair practical. Lighter, stronger, self-healing materials could change buildings, vehicles, and infrastructure. Regenerative biomaterials could transform medicine. And next-generation chips may require materials no human lab could find by trial and error alone. The real upgrade is civilization learning to invent matter faster, safer, and at planetary scale. The central takeaway is that a materials discovery foundry turns invention into a repeatable loop. Propose, simulate, synthesize, test, learn, and optimize. By combining AI, quantum models, robotic labs, and trusted data, it becomes the upstream engine for better batteries, catalysts, medical materials, adaptive buildings, repair particles, energy surfaces, and climate restoration. Next, those materials become living buildings.